Hi guys, this is Dr. Sadashivam once again with you. In this video, we are going to talk about the importance of water. Now, looking at this topic, you might think that it's such a common topic. We all know the importance of water. Why is a video required for this? Right. Let me tell you my own experience. That reminds me of one of the essays during my school days, Sir C.V. Raman, Elixir of Life. I remember having gone through this essay during my school and college days, but when I went through that, it was only for the purposes of getting through the examination, passing the examination with flying colors and getting your degree. But then recently, I saw a WhatsApp message in which a Maulana, was talking about the importance of water. He was crediting the whole thing of nature to Allah. I was so inspired by that particular video, and he was talking about lots and lots of analogies cited by that Maulvi, and they were so interesting, right? Very interesting analogies. I don't know the name of that Maulvi, but whoever is it, my salutes to him, and I was greatly inspired by his examples. We all know the importance of water, but knowing is not everything, because everything, when you go through certain posts, certain videos, you get so inspired, you get so sensitized by that particular video, and that's the whole background of this video. But before I start, I would like to give you examples of certain Vedic scriptures written more than 5,000 years back. We don't know the time period, and we are going to talk about Tritarya Aranyaka, one of the texts in YAJUR Veda. We don't know the time, must be somewhere around 6,000 years back, where it talks about the importance of water. And the Sanskrit Sloka goes like this. Om Yopam Pushpam Veda Pushpavan Prajavan Pachuman Bhavati Chandrabhava Apam Pushpam Pushpavan Prajavan Pashuman Bhavati Yayevam Veda Yopam Hayatanam Veda Hayatanavan Bhavati Yapnirva Mapam Hayatanam Ayatanavan Bhavati Yognerayatanam Veda Ayatanavan Bhavati Apo Vai Ayatanam Ayatanavan Bhavati Evam Veda Yopam Hayatanam Veda Ayatanavan Bhavati. Listen to this, it is my own rendition. These verses are from the Tritiya Aranyaka of the YAJUR Veda. Now let's look at the meaning of these beautiful verses. The verses say that he who knows the flower of waters, he who becomes endowed with the flower, people and the animals. Look at this. Pushpavan, Prajavan, Pashuman, Bhavati. Pushpavan, flowers. Prajavan, people. Pashuman, animals. Pashu, cow. So he who knows the flower of waters, he who becomes endowed with the flower, people and the animals. And then moon is the flower of waters. Chandramava apam pushpam. Moon is the flower of waters. And he who knows this becomes endowed with flower, progeny and animals. He who knows the support of water becomes endowed with that support. Yopam ayatanam Veda ayatanavan bhavati. What a beautiful Sanskrit Sloka it is. We are talking of climate change. We are talking about preservation of water now. But these things have been discussed 6,000 years back in our Vedas, guys. I learned this Shloka some 45 years back. I didn't even know the meaning of this Shloka. We just chanted it, recited it, memorized it. And today I'm going to put all these things together, something that was told by the Maulvi, something that was explained by Sir C.V. Raman in his essay Elixir of Life, and something that we always keep seeing in your WhatsApp message, talking about the importance of water, and then political speeches Greta Thunberg talking about it, political leaders talking about it, and my own experiences, my parents' advice, etc., etc. And that's the origin of this video. I am sure all of you will like it. Water is the elixir of life. Look at this beauty of this creation. Look at its connection with all the life forms in general and individuals in particular. The whole universe survives one and only because of water. Because the link of life in this universe is only through water. And the source of water is only one, that is the rain. Now let's look at how much is the need for water in this body. We have all studied in school that more than 70% of our body weight is water. Whether it is blood, whether it is flesh, whatever. Water constitutes more than 70% of our body mass. Depletion of water, even for a minuscule percentage, leads to a great level of discomfort. And it runs across all ages, whether it is a 70-year-old septuagenarian or whether it is a 3 or 4 months baby. Water is extremely important. The moment somebody gets dehydrated, we feel that discomfort. Kids start crying. The kid hasn't still learnt the language, but it shows its discomfort through crying because it is dehydrated, because water content is down, and therefore the water is required to maintain this balance. Right amount of water, we mean. Now, the nature provides water. The requirement, the nature provides this water to each and every life form in this earth. When we talk about this life form, we are going to talk about the most important, which is the human life. 7 billion people, 7.5 billion people living as on date in this universe as we are speaking. Nature has to provide requirement, water requirement to each one of them, irrespective of your deeds, good man, bad man, your antecedents in life, your line of faith, your allegiance towards a certain religion or belief, your ideologies, be it political ideologies or any other ideology. And it's not just the human beings that the nature is providing water to. All the animals in this planet, all the birds, all the plants, all the trees, infinite light forms, right? Infinite light forms. Now look at this equation from an economic parlance, right? From an economic perspective. I'm going to talk about the supply side economics, demand side economics, right? I'm an economist by profession and I will try to bring in economics wherever possible, right? Now, let us talk about how much is the likely demand for water to cater to 7 billion human beings, guys, and the infinite number of human life forms. We have talked about maybe 70 billion animals, 700 billion birds, an infinite number of life forms we are going to talk about. That is the demand side of the equation, water that is required, right? On a daily basis we are talking about. Now look at the supply side, economics. There shouldn't be any mismatch between the supply and the demand. Why? Because this is a crucial area. It's a matter of life and death. The requirements have to be met every day. The supply side has to match the demand for this world to survive on a daily basis, daily. It is not a semiconductor shortage, right? It happened in the recent past that disrupts your entire automotive production. We have talked a lot about that in the other videos. Do watch them too. We have the supply side disruptions because of corona, the container movements. They have all suffered the steel super cycle, steel shortage, etc. So this is not some kind of a supply mismatch or a semiconductor shortage that you can postpone your production of automobiles or electronics for a finite period of time, 2 months, 3 months, right? And then cater to the latent demand. This water requirement needs to be met on a daily basis for people, human beings' life to survive. This is irreplaceable. This is not substitutable. This is not a substitutable commodity at all. The daily demand needs to be met on a daily basis. in order for this universe to survive. That's what we are talking about. It's not the supply side bottlenecks because of your steel prices. We've recently put up a video on this, how the steel prices have slightly softened now because of China has chosen to increase its steel supply production and all that. That's economics. We're not talking more about. All I'm trying to say is, in case of steel over a period of time, we can have alternative materials also. Another point, you can have polymers or plastics or any other material science researches are happening on a daily basis. You can have other materials which can replace steel, but this is water. We are talking about the basic character. This is required. It cannot be substituted through any other source. And the daily demands cannot be postponed. The daily demands need to be met on a daily basis. So whatever is the demand for the 7 billion people, it has to be met on a daily basis. Nature provides this resource with unfailing regularity. That too completely free of cost, guys. Now let's explore the beauty of this creation and how nature does it. Guys, there's only one way for the water to come to this earth, and that is through rain. Look at all the wells, brooks, lakes, streams, canals, rivers, seas. 70% of the whole earth is water. But unfortunately, that water is not fit for drinking at all. So, for the remaining 30% on the earth, every life form needs water for its basic survival. But nature has provided 70% of the water that is unfit for any human consumption or life form. They cannot drink that water, unfortunately. Now, the greatest challenge in our hands is, how would you make this 70% unusable water into usable water? Now, who are the target consumers for this water? It is 7 billion human beings, 70 billion animals, which is 10 times the number of human beings, 700 billion birds and other life forms, insects, fishes, tending to infinity. We cannot calculate. It's far beyond our calculation power, human comprehension, and that's on the demand side. Now on the supply side of the equation, how much water is required to cater to this demand? Huge demand. Guys, I wanted to do this calculation, but absolutely it's not possible, because you would need trillions and trillions of water. Take a simple example. A family of 4 people approximately consume 1000 liters of water. Make these calculations yourself, guys, for your own family. Look at the supply side miracle. Where is the supply coming from? The water from the sea evaporates into the skies. Trillions and trillions of gallons of water is stored high up in the sky. There are no syntax tanks up there. There are no giant reservoirs up there. Every day there is supply chain logistic that is happening. The water that's getting transported from the deep oceans to the massive reservoirs up in the sky, way up in the sky. Where are the pipelines? Where is the pipeline? Without these, how is this water going up? Think about it. Something that's not seen with our naked eye, cannot be seen with our physical eyes, but something that has been happening with unfailing regularity, day after day, month after month, year after year, centuries after centuries, continuing for millions and millions of years. The water getting transported from one destination, that is sea, to the other, way up in the sky we are talking about. Guys, we've all traveled in the aircrafts. When we travel in the sky and our aeroplane is flying past these water-bearing clouds, just a second. Let's think, let's introspect. Are we zipping past The same reservoirs which are storing gallons, trillions of gallons, and they have been providing water to us since day one we came into this world. Such a valuable resource. What is that? Is it the same tank storing trillions and trillions of gallons of water, but completely invisible, that the flight in which we are sitting zips past through it in a matter of minutes, guys? My goodness, what a tremendous miracle it is. And God has made this possible. God has made this happen through the medium of nature we are talking about. So you have an underground sump in this case, which is the sea. And then there is an overhead tank, which is the sky in this case. What went up was unconsumable salt water. Look at it. Think about it. Introspect. See the input. What went up was something which cannot be consumed. Salt water. It went up, which is not consumable by human beings. But what came down was the purest form of mineral water. You can call it by any name, your Bisleri, your Kinsley, right? And that too completely free of cost, guys. Completely free of cost. Not 20 rupees per liter that we pay. Completely free of cost. It comes back. We have all studied in textbooks. Not a big subject, not a complex subject. But if you think over it little deeply, then you start realizing the miracles of God and how He has been helping us through millions of years, through this constant evaporation process and rain. Think about it. Now, when this comes up, where is the desalination plant up in the sky? Where is that filtration plant, that reverse osmosis process happening in the sky? Where is the pipeline? Where is the overhead tank? Where are they? Who maintains these invisible equipments? Where are the maintenance schedules, right? To keep these alive and kicking 365 days in a year, centuries of years, billions of years. What kind of your AI, artificial intelligence, and your ML, machine learning systems are used to draw up maintenance schedules? Like in today's age, a lot of companies use AI and ML for scheduling their preventive maintenance program, project management, and all that. What is being done? What is happening at the highest level? Is it not a magnum plan? Now comes another great challenge, guys. We have seen that the water has gone up, gets filtered, comes down as rain, which flows back into the oceans, right? Now in the whole story, who is benefited? It is only people living near the coastlines got benefited. In fact, I did a little bit of research on this, about the coastlines in the world. The total coastline of the world is approximately 6,20,000 kilometers, which is roughly 3,72,000 miles of coastline in the world. Now the next statistics is 1/3 of the population, that is nearly 2.4 billion people, they benefit from this, because the geographical data also points out that 1/3 of the total population, they all live within 100 kilometers of the oceanic coast, right? So what happens to the 2/3 people? They are the ones who don't live near the coastal areas. They live in landlocked areas. So I did a small research about landlocked countries. There are lots and lots of countries in the world which are landlocked. For example, you have in Europe your Austria, Hungary. In Africa, you have Uganda, Zimbabwe, Congo. In our neighbors, you can see Afghanistan, Nepal. If you look at South America, Bolivia, Paraguay, etc., these are countries which do not have any coastline. So who feeds them? Is it not the responsibility of the same nature to feed them too? Look at this transportation model, guys. Transportation, it merits a whole operational research. We have operational research, we have transportation problems, we have traveling salesman, we have linear programs. I think guys who have done MBA, higher level mathematics, you all understand what these are. These are all operational research problems, right? When the water from the sea goes up, they form clouds. But that forms just over the oceans. Who will take care of the remaining two-thirds? And there comes another form of nature, Panchabhutam, we call it, the wind. Bajrangapali is that it takes that to the landlocked countries for the rest of the two-thirds of the population to consume water, to preserve the life forms there. Nature's job is not just to protect the life forms across the coasts. Every single life form, living form needs to be protected by nature, by God. There are camels up there, there are deserts up there, there are forests, Amazon forest, Congo forest, Sahara desert, you have deers, lions, tigers, all life forms. Each one of them need to be protected, right? They are all far away from the sea coast, from the oceanic regions. Who will protect them? This is going to protect them. The winds blows these clouds, it rains, everybody is provided the water they need deep into the landlocked countries. The next question is, can you ensure a system where the supply is exactly as per the demand? Can you say with 100% guarantee that there is absolutely no mismatch? Because when you talk about mismatches, the supply shouldn't exceed the demand. At the same time, it should not be less. It should be exactly equal. But many a times it is not. So you are confronted with a problem of where to store that excess water. The nature has now empowered the Mother Earth, another form of Panchabhutam. The nature has empowered Mother Earth to assimilate and store this excess water down underneath it. Take out when you need. Use a bore, use a pump, use a rope, or use a well. Look at another miracle. The dirty water that percolates inside the Mother Earth comes out clean in a usable form. Whether you pump it out through a pump, whether you use a bore, whether you use a rope to take out the water, it is as clean as potable water, guys. Bisleri Kingsley. So there is an underground reservoir. Apart from the overhead reservoir we saw in the form of clouds, you have an underwater reservoir in the form of Mother Earth. There is no excellent filtration plant down there, but it comes out as the cleanest water possible on earth, right? Now, certain exigency measures are required. Exigency measures. You have stored water, you have excess supply has been stored underground, but there are exigency needs. Now, to look at these exigency measures, take the example of your refrigerator at home. Whenever we have excess water, what do? We store that water in a refrigerator. Now look at nature. The same sun who helped taking the water up from the ski to the skies has now depleted the water on the ground from the Mother Earth, complete depletion, leaving the ground parched, dry, barren. We have seen such lands. The same sun which helped the seas to evaporate, it has made the land barren. The heat of it, by the sheer heat of it, water goes up, gets filtered, comes down as rain, which flows back into the ocean. Coastal people are benefited. We have talked about that, about this refrigerator. Look at this. During the times of heavy rains, the falling rain turns into ice and glaciers on top of the mountains. That's the freezer zone. Very much like we have in a refrigerator. The excess water during rains, they're all getting stored as ice and glaciers. That's the glacier part of it. The valuable water got stored on a giant cold storage plant high up in the mountains, Himalaya mountains, Alps mountains, and it gets stored there. As the summer sets in, as the needs of the world, as the needs of the population increased, as the thirst increased during the summer, as the new sowing started to feed the universe once again, the snow started melting. When the snow started melting, the rivers started flowing. The whole world started getting water once again. The water flows down through the rivers. Have you seen the Ganga Maiya ki jai? The need is anticipated well in advance. The storage was planned well in advance, very much like a business plan. like we have for the subsequent years. We do make a plan, $5 trillion vision 2025, storage in the winter and supply during the summers. The same sun who depleted the water from the parched lands, dry lands, provides you water 365 days by melting the ice up the mountain so that that can flow as a river. 7 billion people, 70 billion animals, 700 million birds, and infinite life forms, creatures, invisible insects, invisible life forms, plants, trees. They're all fed. Totally free of cost, guys. Totally free of cost. Look at this beauty of God. Look at this beauty of nature. Guys, every time you sit on the dining table and drink water, pray God that He's been giving these valuable resources to us on a daily basis. Do not waste water. Okay, guys, this is Dr. Sadashivam signing off till we meet again. Bye bye. Jai Hind.